Welcome to God, Guns, and Dogs. I'm happy you could join me today. I'm Steffi B., your hostess, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the Georgia and Texas races and a little bit more. So, Georgia is a coin flip, Texas is a mirage, and everyone seems to be losing their minds. So, let me get this straight. Georgia is basically a 50-50 coin toss. Texas is definitely turning blue any second now for the 8th election in a row. And somehow every headline sounds like the country is 5 minutes away from either collapse or utopia. Yeah, totally normal. Let's start in Georgia, because if you want pure political chaos, that's your destination. You've got John Ossoff, the incumbent Democrat, sitting there with a polling that basically says, congrats, you're technically ahead by vibes. We're talking high 40s. The Republican, also high 40s. The undecided voters probably deciding based on gas prices, vibes, and whether they're annoyed that day. Georgia elections now come down to like 3 suburbs and turnout math that looks like a NASA launch calculation. If 5,000 people in Cobb County wake up grumpy, the entire Senate could flip. That's not exaggeration, folks. That's just Georgia now. We just need to run up the rural vote. Democrats are like, we just need massive turnout in Atlanta, and both sides are pretending that this is a strategy and not just hoping for their people to show up. Now let's talk Texas. Oh yes, Texas. The Lone Star State. Don't mess with Texas, the state that's always about to flip. Right after this next election, the Democrats always say, or the next one, or the next one, or the next one. John Cornyn is sitting there like a guy who's seen this movie before, polling around 50%, comfortable but not. Democrats are in the low to mid 40s once again. This is the year. And look, Texas is changing a little bit. Big cities are growing. Demographics are shifting, but every time we get to actual votes, Republicans still win statewide, and they will remain so. Texas will always stay Republican. Not by accident, that's by structure, folks. Rural turnout, decent suburban performance, and just enough edge to stay ahead. So Texas isn't a landslide, but it's also not the revolution some people keep promising. It's more like a slow simmer that never quite boils over. Because this is where things get weird. Every Senate race now gets wrapped in these massive national narratives, protests, foreign policy, cultural fights. Everything gets poured into the same pot, it seems. And suddenly your local Senate race isn't about roads or jobs anymore. It's about the future of civilization. You see, protests in major cities tied to global conflicts, and within about 6 minutes, the internet turns into, this proves everything I've ever believed politically. Let me tell you, but these protests are funded by Neville Singham, which is a United States citizen born in U.S., but he lives in China and he's part of the Communist Party. He's been funding these with his money. He's got $1 billion from tech. And these aren't organic protests. And the ones in New York that are targeting the Jewish people of our nation need to be denaturalized and deported after they're arrested. This is insane that this is happening. That mayor, Scam Donnie, he needs to go back to Uganda. He needs to be denaturalized and deported. He lied on his paperwork stating that he was not an Islamic, and he is. We can't have those people in this country. Sorry, folks. They're not going to come over here and push their ideology from the 7th century on American citizens. You've got to be kidding me. They need to go back to where they came from and live in the rocks and stay there with their 72 virgin goats. They're disgusting. So one side always says it's chaos and breakdown, and the other say it's activism and free expression. The truth is usually way messier, more local, and way less cinematic than the other side wants. Then you've got Congress, where every hearing is treated like it's the final battle for the Constitution. Lawmakers argue about security, immigration, extremism, real issues, serious stakes. But then the messaging machine kicks in and suddenly it's framed like this one hearing will decide the fate of America forever. So dramatic. Spoiler, it won't. And then there's the Senate itself. You'll hear leadership like guys John Thune basically saying we don't have the votes for the Save America Act, which in Washington translate to lose. We don't like losing on camera, basically. Because here's the secret, folks. The Senate isn't just about ideas. It's about math. Cold, boring, vote-counting math. 60 votes, is the magic number most of the time. And if you don't have it, your big dramatic bill becomes a very passionate press release. And finally, foreign policy. Every few weeks, there's a new headline that sounds like it could spiral into something massive. Tensions with Iran, regional conflicts, global power plays. It's serious, it matters, and it's also incredibly easy for misinformation to spread faster than the facts. Real events get mixed with speculation, rumors, and straight up fiction, folks. And suddenly people are reacting to things that haven't even been confirmed. That's how you get a public that feels constantly on edge because the story always sounds like we're one step away from something huge, some big catastrophe. But here's the reality check. The Georgia race, it'll come down to turnout. The Texas race, it'll come down to margins. The Senate, it runs on votes, not viral clips. And the internet, it will absolutely make everything sound 10 times crazier than it really is. So yeah, welcome to the 2026 election cycle, folks, where everything is historic. You guys, you got to get out there and vote. If we want the supermajority and we can make this election historic, you've got to get out and vote, Republicans. We have a chance to not just keep the House and the Senate, but to pick up so many seats that will actually have a supermajority. That will be awesome. We want a supermajority for sure. Then we could codify all of Trump's executive orders into law. The Senate hearings the other day about the Islamification of our country and how they are indoctrinating our children in Texas and these other states. They are actually sneakily and secretively telling our children, our American children, not about God and Jesus, but about the pedophile that they worship. And then they're making them do homework on it. Oh, no, buddy. That cannot be allowed in this country whatsoever. These people are here to destroy our way of life. They have got to be denaturalized and deported. I don't care what they want here. They need to go. We have enough to deal with than dealing with these stupid, crazy people that want to take over and have some crazy ideology and worship a pedophile and beat the shit out of their women. No, those people are disgusting. They do not have toilets in their bathrooms. They don't even have bathrooms. They poop outside. They eat with their hands. What the hell are they doing in America? Get them away from us. We don't want them here. They're liars, sneakers, scammers, pirates, thieves, and their doctrine that worships a pedophile, likes child marriage. They have no place here, and they better not be in our government anymore. Once Ilhan Omar gets convicted and deported her nasty, disgusting, cigarette-smoking ass out of our country. I cannot wait. Rashida Tlaib, Jayapal need to be denaturalized and deported. They've got to go. We've got to start really thinking about the people that we're voting into office. My God, look at that attorney general in Virginia. Are you kidding me? Somebody that actually said he wants to see children die bloody in their mother's arms, and you people voted for that? I really don't think you did. I believe 100% that election was rigged with those voting machines. Those voting machines have to be taken and burned into an oblivion and never to wake up again, never to be revitalized, never to be rebuilt. China has a phone chip in them and is changing the votes with the cell phone from Serbia. This is ridiculous. Other countries running Americans' elections, the most affluent country in the world, okay? And we've got voting machines from Venezuela determining our elections. These Democrats have destroyed so many things in our country. We've got to fix it, pass laws this time that will prevent them from ever doing what they did again and hurting so many people and getting so many Americans raped and killed. My God, the fentanyl, the illegals raping and killing all the women and children. This is ridiculous, and it has got to stop. But we've got to get out there and vote, everybody. We got to vote. Vote Republican, vote for common sense, and vote for America. Remember, no matter what life throws your way, you still have potential. Hit that like and subscribe button. It sure helps the algorithm. Well, thank you guys for coming and seeing me this evening. God bless you, and God bless America.